Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and it's time for another one of my client Garrett's vlogs. He is an intermediate lifter, and of course we'll put his training maxes below. And again, he's a good contrast with my novices because a lot of my novice lifters, you guys can see their programming is a little less complex. We have more variation in his accessory work, even though the overall template itself is very, very similar. Right? And he has a little more training volume than they do, right? Overall, just a little more training volume. He was on fire this week with his rep work. This was a 5+ rep week, which means again using a 5-3-1 type template, he built up to a 5 rep set at 85% of his training maxes. He got 8 reps on his bench today. He got 10 reps on everything else. Now, keeping in mind, these are not supposed to be grinders. These are M reps to where we take him to maybe 1 rep in reserve, right? Maybe 1 rep in reserve. Notice, though, that everything is pause bench with him. We pause, we explode. There's no touch and go here. This is something trying to get some of my novice lifters to learn is to pause their benching. I'm going to have videos on that in the future. Like getting men to pause their bench is one of the most difficult things in the world. Women, it's easy. You tell them to pause their bench, they'll pause. Men have an ego with their bench, and getting them to pause on it is damn near impossible. It's like pulling teeth. Garrett is pausing, and notice everything was done with a pause. That's what we want to see. It's what we want to see. But after his bench, he did 5 sets of 10 is back off work. Now it was much lighter, even though people were like, yeah, but that was a set of 10. Yeah, but it shouldn't necessarily have been 10. Actually, it was 8 this week. Everything else was 10. All right, then we did dumbbell chest presses. We do 1-arm dumbbell rows. All right, this is his work. This is his accessory work for this. For this day, for bench day, again, dumbbell presses for the chest because, again, we need more pecs. He really struggles with things like chest development. That's been a big fight for us on his bench. Now, keeping in mind, I think this has come up too. People are like, well, how's he compare to Jack? He's the same height. They're 6'4". The difference, he's 210 pounds at 6'4". But keep in mind, he's a lean guy, still a little bit lanky. All right, we could easily put another 20 pounds on his frame, which is where he really needs to be realistically. He needs to be 230, right, to actualize his strength potential. Squats, like I said before, he was on fire. We got 10 reps. This is the best response we've got out of any training he's done. We put him early in conjugate, and for this lifter, he floundered on squats. Deadlifts and bench went up. Squatting, not so much. And that's the thing that I've found is that the low volume box squatting for my longer leg tall lifters on conjugate doesn't work that well. They need a leg volume. And in his case, he needs supplemental leg volume, right? Just like Jack does. So we do back squats for sets of 10, and then we come in and we do goblet squats. Now, I may rotate some front squats in for him. We've also messed with single leg exercises a little bit for him. So those are also options. But right now, I like the goblet squats because he can get super deep, right? He can get super deep. There's minimal stress on his shoulders, wrists, things like that. Eventually, I might have him do some front squatting because it'll carry over to his deadlift. But the goblet squat as a supplemental lift works great for him because it lets us get 10 good work sets of volume in for the quads, abductors, everything else. All right, we get a lot of volume in with something that's still fairly easy to recover from that gives us a second squat movement pattern. All right, overhead press. Again, on fire. He got 10 reps. 10 reps. But I'm pretty sure we knew this was going to happen because last time he went for his training max and he did a double. Wasn't supposed to, but he was just like, it felt good, and I grabbed a second rep. So, not a surprise he got 10 here today. Oh, again, reminder for those curious, he also does good mornings on his squat day. So we do squats, we do goblet squats, we do good mornings. Then we did his volume work on the overhead press. It follows the same template, all 5x10s at 60% training max. And I keep a lot of that constant. People love to weave waves and they love to be complex as coaches, or we can run these things in different waves for our supplemental work or whatever. I don't think that's necessary. I think for the most part that's programming mumbo jumbo to make coaches look smart. Again, he went shirtless for a bit. He said he got hot in his hoodie. It's winter time and he's in the garage. He is in a very, very cold place for those curious. But again, the people can at least see what he looks like, see what the physique looks like, see the back. And his back development's come up. Now we want it to get thicker, and we still want that upper back to keep getting thicker. But the one-arm dumbbell rows, the deadlift volume, all of that will help with that. And eventually, like I said, we can add some front squats and things. And I mean, I could actually give him a second row instead of pull-ups, but he likes pull-ups. He's good at them. He's got multi-grit bars. We can change pull-ups around, and we do. So for those curious, I rotate his grips every now and then for pull-ups. Right now, we're doing the neutral grip ones, which are oftentimes our best choice. I tend to push people in that direction for the neutral grip. So his overhead press days, our supplemental work is pull-ups after we do all the pressing volume, and then again dumbbell chest presses. Now some people would say, well, that's not necessarily overhead related. No, it's not, but we struggle with pecs for him. All right, we struggle with chest development, so he really needs that extra chest work. All right, you can see from the side here, due to his frame and everything, chest comes along real slow, so we need that extra volume, and that gives us 15 sets for his pecs every week instead of something like 10. And that's not counting the peak sets. That's only counting all of our accessory sets for 10s. Deadlifts, same thing. 300 pounds, he did 10 reps. 10 reps with 300 pounds. Again, we should be seeing this deadlift come up real quick. And again, as I've noted before, we do need to work on his fishing pulling still. We've gone through some sessions where I get him in Skype and have him set his phone up and we work on that setup, because he used to be even worse. Like, he used to be completely cat-backed pulling. Like what he looks like there before he dropped down. And I still don't like him doing that, by the way. He knows I don't like that. He used to pull like that. His max deadlifts used to look like that coming off the floor. So we've made a lot of progress there. I would like to see it a little bit cleaner still. I'd like to get him doing even less of that. And he knows as a coach I'm critical. I'm very critical of that. In fact, Jack chimed in and said, well, I noticed he kind of does that. And I'm like, I got a message from Jack after he watched Garrett's vlog the other day. And I'm like, yeah, and I ride his ass about it too. So you don't get a free pass to do that shit. So, and again, that was a rather funny conversation. This is Coach cracking the whip. I'm honestly, I joke a lot about being a hard ass. I'm pretty nice to most of my clients. I'm usually real chill and supportive, but sometimes I have to crack the whip on them. It's necessary, especially with young men. You have to sometimes. But we finished up here with just good mornings. So all we do is deadlifts and good mornings on his deadlift day. That's all he needs. His deadlift's coming along just fine. I'd love it if he had a GHR, but we don't. So I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.